The New York Knicks now making a move and making a trade for Karl Anthony Towns. And seemingly, Knicks have now decided they're going in for it all. There is no wasted time. And with Jalen Brunson and the success that we have seen him bring as the star leader of this entire squad, they're going all in. And they did what I thought they would never do. They got rid of Julius Randle. My gosh, can you believe it? The shot chucking menace himself, what his role was on this team, was completely adjacent to what the Knicks were trying to build. A volume shooter, a volume scorer, more so down low in the post. Normally on the Knicks, when he got on the floor, at least from my perspective, never really gelled well when it came to Jalen Brunson. And we saw when Julius Randle was off the floor, and it was strictly Jalen Brunson, they flourished, shined, had the best seasons of recent memory when it came to the New York Knicks squad. This is what they needed. Now you get Karl Anthony Towns, the 7-foot, 20 to 25 point per game scorer, 39% from three as a shooter. Is one of the best shooting big men, 3-point shooting big men in NBA history. Has shot 40% over the past couple seasons. Hasn't shot below, I think, 37% in a mighty long time when it comes to beyond the arc. Somebody who can go for 50, who can go for 40, who can go for 30 and 10, who can be a dominant offensive player by himself, let alone now when he's got spacing to work and operate. Cat is one of the best offensive centers in the league. Gives the load off of Jalen Brunson, and it helps spread the floor for the entirety of that offense. Because you have to understand what this team looks like right now when it comes to a starting five. It is at the 1, Jalen Brunson. At the 2, Josh Hart. At the 3, Mikal Bridges. At the 4, OG Anunoby. And at the 5, Karl Anthony Towns. Everybody on that squad can shoot, can run, is offensively adept, and you have good defensive people like with OG Anunoby, like with Malik Bridges, like with Josh Hart, who's also a good rebounder, and Jalen Brunson, again, facilitating this whole saga of an organization, as well as every single one of those names is a shooter, can spread the floor, can get a bucket on their own, but doesn't take dump shots. They still all revolve around the world that is Jalen Brunson. This is a lineup that looks deadly. This is a lineup that looks, at least on paper, looks incredible. And compared to the rest of the Eastern Conference, outside of Boston, they're liable to take out some of the best teams in the East. You could argue that they're the fourth best team outright and potentially third. Because you have Boston, you have Milwaukee, you got Philly, especially with the acquisition of Paul George. But now with the Knicks getting Karl Anthony Towns, it's not out the question to say that we could see the Knicks overtake Philly as the third biggest threat in the Eastern Conference. And if we see how the Bucks played last year, they play again like that this year. They may be the second best team in the East. When it comes to the Knicks, they can. With this roster, this is a squad that looks ready to actually make some noise, not just in the playoffs, but give a legitimate push for a title run. An actual push to get to a championship. We thought it was going to revolve around, again, the Nova Knicks with DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Malik Bridges, and Brunson. But now we see the direction this team is taking. Hey, you need a dominant second option. Karl Anthony Towns fits that to a T. This is a brother who, with this squad, is going to be an incredible sight to see when it comes to the offensive display. On top of the fact that with his floor spacing, now you can't double him without him being able to kick out to another viable shooter or cutter on the outside. The only thing I would want with this Knicks squad is to potentially get one more big body, one more big, aggressive defensive center to get a 3-center lineup that can make it so that you can hide the deficiencies of Karl Anthony Towns when it comes to the defensive end. Yes, the Timberwolves last year had the best defense in the league. Understandable. But more so, that was the rest of the roster. Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, McDaniels, they had a stout squad that had defenders everywhere. They did, and they gave effort. Now, I'm not saying Karl Anthony Towns didn't have a part in that. No. But on the whole, what his reputation has been, he's never been a dominant defensive player. Now, if you want to maximize his offensive load while still keeping the Tom Thibodeau style of grit, toughness, defense, both ways of the floor type of mentality in play, it would be smart to get another big man to pair with Cat, at least to help Mitchell Robinson as the only other legitimately big man on this organization, at least on this roster. But outside of that, they can make that move in the offseason. They can make that move in free agency. Even still, everything else from the looks of it, oh, it looks wonderful. This is a team now that really has the manpower and the firepower to be able to go for a title. It is real. It is no longer a pipe dream. This is a turning point in the story of Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks squad as we know it today. Or it could crash and burn. We've seen that also happen before. But on paper, my gosh, this looks beautiful. And how they perform, we're going to have to wait and see. But this is a move that looks incredible.